It is Wednesday, the 3rd day of November 2021. Good evening, beloved viewer, and welcome to Newswatch on Hope TV, where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga, and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Thank you for tuning in. Sit back and let us get you briefed on the day's stories. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati has agreed to extend the enhanced voter registration exercise that was to end on Tuesday following a court order. In a statement on Tuesday night, Chebukati said that the electoral body will obey the court order that stopped it from winding its 30-day registration exercise, noting that the commission would like an appeal to counter the order, which was issued on Monday by the High Court in Eldoret. IEBC had warned that it will not extend the 30-day voter listing exercise due to financial constraints. Dickens Luvanda begins with this report.
The country's electoral agency, IEBC, on Tuesday night opted to extend the one-month nationwide enhanced continuous voter registration exercise that was to end on November 2nd. The Commission Chairman Wafula Chebukati, in a statement, obeyed a court order that directed the Commission to extend the exercise by one more week to November 9th, following a petition by one voter, Patrick Cheronom.
The court has been kind enough to give a prohibitory order against IEBC not to close its exercise of mass voter registration.
Justice Eric Ogol of the Eldoret High Court issued the orders on Monday this week, following Cherono's application, which argued that IEBC had not met its target of registering about 4.5 million new voters. In a quick rejoinder, the IEBC said it will extend the voter listing exercise as directed, but pledged to move to court on Wednesday morning to challenge the order. IEBC, which has been under pressure to extend the mass registration exercise, had indicated that it was unable to do so due to lack of funds.
Why would you want to wait for Muhesh to come and talk to you and maybe even give you a handout for you to go and register?
So far, only 1.1 million Kenyans had been registered as voters by close of business on Tuesday, against a target of 4.5 million new voters. Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Dickens, for that report. Moving on, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has clarified that all learners in primary and secondary schools across the country will be proceeding for their mid-term break on Friday this week. The CES made the clarification earlier today when he presided over the opening of a conference on technology and innovation at the Murang'a University of Technology. While launching the 3-day conference, Magoha called on more enthusiasm in the field of research and technology, adding that Africans were well capable of coming up with innovations that could match those of developed countries. Grace Wangoi brings us more.
Emerging issues.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has never been shy to challenge institutions of higher learning, be it universities, TVET institutions and colleges, to step up and do better. According to Magoha, more needs to be done in the field of innovation and research. Speaking when he opened a 3-day conference on technology in Murang'a University, Magoha pointed out that moving forward, research and innovation should be tailored to fit the country's social and economic problems, adding that if innovation is given first priority, the country will stop relying on imports.
If we keep on doing things exactly the same way we did them 10, 20, 30 years ago, and you expect to see a different result, or you expect to see a change, then you are not using your brain to the extent that you should use it. It is not that you are stupid or intelligent, you have just allowed your brain to go to sleep.
CS Magoha observed that some bottlenecks in life like food insecurity, health, shortage of housing and industrialization, among others, can be solved if universities can actively engage in research. The CS says it is time things were done differently.
Whatever is going to bring change must look stupid and mad at the beginning. How many of stupid and mad projects do you have here? If there is none, you are doing nothing. You must have a professor who is doing something which looks absolutely irrational, because if you don't try, you can't get the answer. But even where the footprints have been put before, why don't we pick and move instead of waiting for people to bring?
Meanwhile, the CS took the opportunity to clarify that the midterm, which was announced on Tuesday, was not only meant for secondary students, but to all learners, including those in primary schools. The review on the school calendar that previously indicated there would be no midterm for secondary students is seen as a solution to the rise in school unrests that have been witnessed across the country.
So that circular is for all children, and by the grace of God, on the 19th of this month, all children go home. The ones in boarding schools, even the ones in day schools, they stay at home with their parents for a few days just to suck the breast, and then they come back on Tuesday.
Grace Songoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Grace, for that report. To some politics, Deputy President William Ruto today slammed efforts of reviving the Jubilee Party 2 days after Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju announced that the party is preparing to hold its National Delegates Conference. Speaking in the counties of Kiambu and Murang'a, Ruto has said that no amount of effort can revive the Jubilee Party, since all along the party has been ruined by the removal of its key figures. Our reporter Kennedy Kimani has the details.
Deputy President William Ruto has exuded confidence in the United Democratic Alliance, saying that the Hustler Nation political outfit will form the next government in 2022. Speaking in Murang'a and Kiambu counties on Wednesday, DP Ruto has slammed the plans of Jubilee to revive the party, saying that those lecturing them about Jubilee are wasting their time, since, as he says, they are the ones who killed the party by expelling its leaders, and no amount of effort can revive the ruling party.
Ati saizi wanasema ati ile mabaki ya Jubilee. Sasa wanatusumbua na Jubilee nini? Jubilee tayari iliisha na wao ndio walimaliza. Si hawa watu wote wanajifanya bado wako Jubilee, si wameshahama wameenda ODM. Na sisi wengine tumehama tumeenda UDA. Si sasa hii Jubilee tu ifungwe? Ama namna gani? Sasa wanatusumbua ya nini? Ati sijui wanataka kutufukuza. Mnatufukuza kutoka wapi na nyinyi tayari mulienda ODM?
Garissa Township Member of Parliament Aden Duale say that they are done with the Jubilee Party and are not intimidated by the threats of kicking out members from the party.
The status of Jubilee is like a scrap metal, and which they want to sell to ODM as a scrap. And I want to tell them we are tired of their intimidation and blackmail, and we have no business. We are not in the business of buying Jubilee as a scrap metal.
The Tangatanga members of parliament now say that Jubilee is no longer the party they knew, and whichever way Jubilee goes, William Ruto will hold the deputy president's position till August 9th, 2022.
Nataka niwaeleza hivi, mnafukujaje mtu katika chama ambaye alitoka kitambo? Hiyo chama tuliwaatia kitambo. Lakini pia mkifanya hiyo maneno ya kufukuzana, muanza register vizuri. Rais wetu mwenyewe ameshahama na ameenda NASA na ODM. Nyinyi wenyewe ambao mlikuja kutangaza ati ya kwamba mnafukuza sisi, mko katika chama ya ODM. Sio kufukuza watu. Mimi ningewauliza kwa heshima. Hiyo chama ilikuwa inaitwa Jubilee. Tufanye liquidation. Kila mtu arudishiwe share yake, kwa sababu hakuna mtu amebakia huko.
Kule Coast iko locked. Tumemaliza. Rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri yetu ya Kenya ni William Samoei Ruto.
In the year 2002, Rais mstaafu Daniel Arap Moi alitengeneza project, ilikuwa inaitwa Project Uhuru, ikakataliwa na watu ya Kenya. Mwaka huu tumefika saa hii, wanatengeneza project ingine inaitwa Project Raila, vile ilikataliwa mwaka yule ndio ikataliwa. Mtakubali project?
Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch.
Much appreciated, Kennedy, for that report. Moving on, the Judiciary and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, have launched a joint review of the policies, procedures, and practices of the judiciary to identify loopholes that may be exploited to aid corruption. The initial phase will involve a review of court registries, record management, and the Department of Building Services before being extended to financial and supply chain management, human resource, ICT, and communication. Alice Diana brings us this story.
During the launch on Wednesday, Chief Justice Martha Koome said the review is a symbol that the judiciary and EACC are committed to enhance and redouble their efforts to combat corruption and give effect to the normative command in Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Koome called on the EACC to undertake a comprehensive anti-corruption audit of the judiciary in a bid to restore public confidence and trust in the executive arm of government.
We in the judiciary are tired of being told that we are corrupt. This perception in our country that the judiciary has really not gotten rid of corruption within our systems that we operate. And the consequence of this lingering perception is that the public confidence and trust in the judiciary has remained low. We have been saying loud and clear that we build their confidence in our judiciary.
The CJ noted that the challenge of stamping out corruption in the public and private sectors remains a formidable challenge, saying the need for collaboration with institutions with the expertise to fight against corruption like the EACC is necessary.
Our pursuit of enhanced fight against corruption through proactive system audit of the judiciary systems and operations is informed by the reality that fighting and winning the war against corruption will not be won by isolated and sporadic acts focused on incidents of individuals caught in the act, as it were. Rather, we must adopt a root and branch systems review of the judiciary's entire operations to tackle and eliminate the avenues and loopholes and gaps that are prone to be exploited by those who could be tempted to engage in unethical, corrupt practices.
Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu expressed confidence that with time, the judiciary will have improved in efficiency in service delivery, while on his part, EACC Chairperson Dr. Eliud Wabukala highlighted EACC milestones, including averting possible loss of public funds estimated at 30.4 billion shillings. Wabukala commended the judiciary for leveraging on technology to improve service delivery and most notably ensuring business continuity during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Systems outlive people. I've no doubt myself that by the time you leave, we shall have improved in the efficiency of delivery of service.
For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Alice Diana.
Thank you, Alice. To some concerning news, parents and pupils of Kamwangi Primary School in Gatundu North Sub-County are living in panic and fear after more than 10 girls were alleged to be possessed by evil spirits in the last few days that saw learning disrupted. The recent incident happened on Tuesday where 5 girls fell unconscious in the school compound and began crawling on the ground for almost an hour. Dolly Murigi tells us more.
Fear and panic has gripped parents and pupils of Kamwangi Primary School in Gatundu North Sub-County after more than 10 girls were allegedly possessed by evil spirits in the last few days, disrupting learning. Surprisingly, all those affected are girls in grade 2 and grade 3. The recent incident happened on Tuesday, where 5 girls fell unconscious in the school compound and began crawling on the ground for almost an hour, wailing and at the same time shouting at the top of their voices in weird languages in the presence of the parents.
Kamwangi Primary is one of our primary schools very near this office, and this is the first time we have heard about such an issue. It started last week, and we would find a few pupils fall, and others behave in a funny way. But what we usually do, and that is for every school, we invite the medical personnel from Igegania, and because that is the nearest, and then what happens is that they are able to go through or assess the situation, and what was found is that they had no charges.
The parents had been called for a meeting after another incident on Friday last week that saw girls get possessed and fall unconscious on the ground, crawling and wailing.
Today, this morning, we had about 6 children, and it caused a lot of panic to parents. And so the head teacher invited the parents, and fortunately, some of the parents were pastors in local churches, and also invited the sponsor of the school, which is Catholic sponsored.
It took the intervention of the area sub-county education office, the school board and some parents who took those affected to the nearby Igegania Level 4 hospital. Sub-County Education Officer Edith Modoni said medical results show the school girls are fine and were released to their homes.
What now they did as a community is to have those pastors, the parents, the staff and the board of that school. They decided to play together with the children, and by late afternoon they were all settled and well. And going forward is that we would like the board, the sponsor, the parents to follow up closely what is causing those children to fall.
Modoni cautioned locals against condemning the school and accusing it of having evil spirits, saying they should support the school, assuring them that investigations were ongoing.
There are all kinds of evil things that people will spread, but it is wrong to talk about children, and especially an institution, because it affects the learning. Even the teaching, you find the teachers are affected, the pupils are affected, the parents whose children were affected are also affected. So it is wrong to say that there is something sinister about an institution.
The shocked parent fear that more children could also be affected by the alleged evil spirit if necessary interventions are not urgently taken. Dolly Mirigi, Hope TV, Newswatch.
Quite disturbing. Thank you, Dolly, for that report. Taking a look at COVID-19 statistics today, 103 people have tested positive for COVID-19 from a sample size of 4,617 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 2.2%. Total confirmed positive cases are 253,512 and cumulative tests so far conducted are 2,718,872. 68 patients recovered from the disease, pushing total recoveries to 247,025. The Ministry of Health has recorded no COVID-19 related deaths today, and cumulative fatalities are still standing at 5,282. As of yesterday, a total of 5,427,617 vaccines had so far been administered across the country. Of these, 3,728,033 were partially vaccinated, while those fully vaccinated were 1,699,584. The proportion of adults fully vaccinated is 2.2%. And on that note, let's take our first commercial break on Newswatch tonight. We have plenty more after the break.
Dad! Gari mpya! Umetoa wapi gari mpya?
Optiven wametusort.
Optiven? Nunua any of our value-added properties ama redeem installment ya property yako. Kwa kila malipo ya 10,000 unapata 1 entry point kwenye draw ya Furahia na Optiven promotion. Airtime kushindaniwa kila siku, holiday kila wiki, shinda ploti na gari kila mwezi na grand prize ya Mercedes-Benz C180. Ni rahisi, buy ama redeem na ushinde na Furahia na Optiven.
Yes, I have come to testify.
I will stand up before the congregation and testify of the wonderful things you have done.
I was on my knees, and that day, that is one thing that amazed me. For sure, God never lies.
Thank God, because it's only God's blessings that addeth no sorrow.
Mimi naogopa dhambi.
On Testify, we bring to you real encounters with Christ, breathtaking experiences, and life-transforming testimonies.
We testify.
Nikamwambia Mungu, kumbuka nimekuwa katika njia zako. Kama kuna wakati wa kuniokoa ni huu.
Ni heri ni uwawe, nizikwe na hawa hatujazaliwa na wao.
Oh, najua waluya.
My husband did everything for me. For 4 years, I used to cry and pray to God because
Join me this and every Thursday at 8 p.m. on the program where our faith in Christ keeps growing. Right here at Hope TV, where you look and live.
Life is not the same again. We testify. We celebrate for all you've done.
A very warm welcome back to you. Let's continue. A multi-agency security team has launched a sensitization peace campaign in Laikipia North and Laikipia West constituencies as an easy calm returns in the troubled regions. The team, led by County Commissioner Joseph Kanyiri, County Police Commander John Nyoike, and other government officials, are set to reach out to all communities that have been experiencing conflict in the recent past. This is to encourage them to embrace one another and sensitize them on the importance of peaceful coexistence between different communities through respect for the rule of law.
Maendeleo inakuja na usalama. So tukiendelea kuwa na usalama area hii, maendeleo itazidi kukuja. Mimi najua kazi itazidi kuongezeka, hata kama sio Muge peke yake. Unajua hata sisi tumefunga mabiashara kadhaa sababu ya usalama, lakini biashara ikiendelea kufunguka, mimi najua kazi itapatikana, watu watapata kazi. So tuendelee kutimiza usalama kila mahali, ili biashara iendelee kufunguka na watu wapate kazi.
Na jambo lingine ambalo limerudisha haya maneno nyuma, kwamba tuna mashule na haya shule zenye ziko ni chache sana, na vile ni chache pia hatuna walimu. Na zaidi ya kutokuwa na walimu, wale wasasi ambao wanafaa kutuma watoto shule ni watu ambao hawajaenda shule. Ile pia bado ni challenge nyingine, kwamba pengine hata wale watu wengi wao hawana uwezo ama hawana ile elimu ya kujua kwamba ni muhimu mtoto apate kwenda shule ili apate kujisaidia baadaye.
Bila amani hakuna mashule zitaendelea, na kama zitaendelea haitaendelea kwa ile njia ambayo inastahili. Umesikia ikisemekana hapa ya kwamba mashule ziko na walimu haku. Ni mwalimu gani ambaye ataenda kufanya kazi mahali penye hakuna peace? Hata kama ni mimi mwenyewe ningekuwa mwalimu singeelekea huko. Business itafanya namna gani? Itafungwa. You can see biashara za hapa vile zinakaa. Kama ni majani ni 10, 15. Ukiwa na wageni utaelekea karibu duka 10 ili upate sukari kilo ngapi? Kilo 2.
Kusahau maisha yako.
Narok County has registered 33,340 new voters out of a target of 78,000 during the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise that closed yesterday. However, a spot check showed many people struggling to beat the IEBC deadline as long queues were seen during the last-minute rush. Narok Huduma Center manager Ms. Naserian Katamboy said the turnout in the last 2 days was very high, forcing the officers to extend the working hours to register all those who had turned out.
At the beginning of the month, when we launched the customer service week, we also launched the IBC launch, of which the IBC had started registration. And for the past few days, the beginning, the turnout was a little bit low. But towards the end, the turnout has just increased. From the last 3 days, the turnout has increased massively. And we are seeing people coming. You can see from my background there's a good number, and they're still trooping in. Like yesterday, we closed late because there was a very huge number. So at Huduma Center, the number has just increased towards the end, but at the beginning the number was not that good.
Nimetoka Loita, pande ile ya Loita, na leo nimekuja kujiandikisha kama mpiga kura, na ninashukuru Mungu kwa hiyo. It was the first time, na sikuwa nimepata nafasi kwa yale siku zingine ambayo imepita. Sasa leo nimepata nafasi kwa ajili tulikuwa malishoni na kiangazi imekuja, so tulikuwa tunashughulikia mambo ya mifugo, na ninashukuru Mungu kwa maana nimeregister kama mpiga kura. Hata mimi nimepata haki kama Wakenya wengine, na ninashukuru Mungu kwa hiyo.
And still in Narok County, education stakeholders have launched an operation to rescue over 32,000 children who are not in school in the county. The campaign was launched by the Narok County Commissioner Evans Achoki and newly posted Rift Valley Region Education Director Jared Opiero, who vowed to use all means to return the children to school. Commissioner Achoki said they will begin with Narok South, which has the highest out-of-school children, and collaborate with the village elders and chiefs to ensure the children are back to school. He said his office will enhance sensitization campaigns where they will speak to the influential leaders in the community and parents on the importance of taking their children to school. A recent study showed that most out-of-school children are in grazing fields, entertainment joints, border sector, and cultural events.
Narok has around 32,000 children that are not in school, but today we are targeting Narok South, where we are going to do 8,272 learners. We are happy with the Ministry of Interior, coordinated by the CC and the county government for Narok, and our education officials and TSC that have committed today that from Thursday we'll be in Narok South, and we are going to launch this program to make sure that all these learners come back to school.
Where are these children? These children are grazing animals. These children, or school-going children, are in the public transport sector. They are in the markets. They are in the plantations. And some of them are in the cultural activities. Some of them are in the entertainment industry. So these are the children, the learners we are going to target to ensure that they come back to school. So we have 8 points agenda, which we will focus in the whole county, but specifically we are focusing on Narok South, which has the highest number of school-going children of school-going age who are not in school or who have never gone to school. We know that some of these children are physically challenged, and we are saying that even the physically challenged children must be brought to school.
Quite unfortunate. And Kieni Girls High School in Embu County have joined 2 other schools in the county in incorporating tax education in the syllabus following a partnership between the Kenya Revenue Authority KRA and the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development KICD. The content being taught, according to the tax authority, covers a wide range of tax administration matters, including meaning of tax, uses of tax, mandate of KRA, tax audit process, and international tax, among others. The partnership aims at mainstreaming tax training in the new competency-based curriculum CBC in order to equip learners with requisite tax knowledge and mold them into responsible taxpayers.
I want to appreciate our partners. Everybody hears about KRA and fears that they may find me some fault. So the idea of education and whoever came up with it is actually very noble and has come at the right time. Some of us, however, you find us wearing very nice suits. We lack that education. So the approach that we're using is very good, and I want to believe that very soon we shall all be very well informed and everyone in the country will be able to pay the taxes very faithfully.
You are expected to play a major role in this region in ensuring that tax education gets to the deep roots of the area. And as girls who have guts, I've just seen, we expect you even to excel in a greater way in tax education. So I look forward to meeting us in other spheres, in the marketplaces, and as well as in this place, advancing the tax education message.
In the next 4-5 years, the trickle-down effect of this message in the entire country will bring in a phenomenal change in terms of appreciating the role of every Kenyan to support the government by paying the fair share of your taxes, so that we demystify the conversation about why pay taxes. And it's for that reason that we've taken a while just to educate the students about the role of every citizen when it comes to paying the fair share of their taxes in order to support their government programs.
The residents of Ganze constituency broke into song and dance Tuesday when Cabinet Secretary James Macharia launched the construction of the 56-kilometer Bamba-Kilifi-Ganze-Kilifi road. The residents sang songs of praise to the national government and area member of parliament Teddy Mwambire for pushing for the construction of the key road, a project that the Transport Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development CS said would cost 2.1 billion Kenya shillings at a time when the country is facing financial difficulties. They now believe that when the road is completed, it will open up the constituency for development as well as attract investors and tourists due to the ease of travel. The constituency has severally been declared the poorest in the country.
Tunaheshimu ofisi yake, tunaheshimu huduma zake, lakini heshima yetu na watu wetu, tafadhali. Tafadhali, there can never be any debate about it. There can never be any debate about it. Na ile kitu ambayo nataka kumwambia Mheshimiwa Governor Kingi, nimekuchunguza wewe kutoka 2013. Mikutano ukiwa Ganze ndio unajaza lori ya unga, unakuja kama wewe mwenyewe unakuja Ganze. Ukiwa hoji tunalala na njaa, hakuna siku unayozungumza haya. Umekuja hapa kora nyuso za watu wa Ganze ziko na majonzi, unapanda kwa jukwaa, neno lako la kwanza ni kwamba umetuletea unga.
Mapenzi yangu mimi, tufanye kazi, tuheshimiane kama viongozi ili tuone yale mafanikio tunapata na hasa Ganze.
Jambo la kunisikitisha tu ni moja tu, kwamba hapa Ganze tumekuwa na viongozi na hivi sasa kura zinakuja 2022. Huu mkutano wa leo ulikuwa ni mkutano wa serikali, ulikuwa ni mkutano wa maana sana, Mkutano kwamba ukionyeshwa ndani ya runinga unaonekana kwamba watu wa Ganze ni watu ambao wameeleweka, ni watu ambao wana maelewano, ni watu ambao wanaangalia siku za usoni.
Wananchi wanaangalia kiongozi ambaye ni mwanasiasa, lakini wakati mwingi tunapata wanasiasa peke yake, viongozi hatupati. Kila ambacho nimekiona pale, nimeona wanasiasa, sikuona viongozi. Kiongozi ni mtu mwanzo hajali kupingwa. Siasa utapingwa, na ukipingwa unaachia jukumu la uamuzi wa wananchi wenyewe. Lakini ukipingwa unaleta vurumai, wewe si kiongozi, wewe ni mwanasiasa wa kawaida. Na lile ambalo nimeliona pale hivi leo ni jambo la kuhuzunisha. Manake sehemu hii ya Ganze nimekuwa gavana kwa miaka 10 na sijaona uchafu kama ule. Na hata kina mama na wazee wa Ganze pia nao walipigwa na butwa kuona kitu kama kile.
At the same time, the political differences between Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi and Ganze Member of Parliament Teddy Mwambire played out in the public during the launch of the 56-kilometer Bamba Kilifi Road project. Camps allied to the two political kingpins staged a shouting match in the presence of Public Works Principal Secretary Paul Mwangi Maringa and County Commissioner Kutswa Olaka, forcing the two public officers to leave the meeting venue prematurely.
Tunaheshimu ofisi yake, tunaheshimu huduma zake, lakini heshima yetu na watu wetu, tafadhali. Tafadhali, there can never be any debate about it. There can never be any debate about it.
Mapenzi yangu mimi tufanye kazi, tuheshimiane kama viongozi, ili tuone yale mafanikio tunapata na hasa Ganze.
Huu mkutano wa leo ulikuwa ni mkutano wa serikali. Ulikuwa ni mkutano wa maana sana. Mkutano kwamba ukionyeshwa ndani ya runinga unaonekana kwamba watu wa Ganze ni watu ambao wameeleweka, ni watu ambao wana maelewano, ni watu ambao wanaangalia siku za usoni. Lakini aibu ile imetokea hapa leo. Na imeletwa kwa sababu ya mtu ambaye ameiba zile pesa ambazo mimi nimezileta hapa.
Wananchi wanaangalia kiongozi ambaye ni mwanasiasa, lakini wakati mwingi tunapata wanasiasa peke yake, viongozi hatupati. Kila ambacho nimekiona pale, nimeona wanasiasa, sikuona viongozi.
Siasa ya Kilifi imekuwa tulivu sana kwa miaka mingi, na sisi kama viongozi lazima tudumishe utulivu and political tolerance. Hii tumeona hapa ni siasa kitoto. Hata si siasa, ni utoto tu ile tumeona. Kwamba wewe umekuja kwa hafla ya kitaifa, sasa wewe unaleta siasa yako ya kijijini. We should learn to distinguish. This is national politics, this is what. We need to do that and we need to rise above pettiness.
Wale ambao wamekuja na hiana zao kujaribu kutafuta mbinu ya kukorofisha huu mkutano ama kuweza kuharibu kwa sababu ya siasa zao duni. Wengine wakitaka kupata mafikira mpata mahali ambapo wanaweza leta chakula ili washangiliwe, halafu wauze machao kipya, sijui paa, sijui nini. Nafikiri wameona kwamba wakazi wa Ganze hawalikuwa tayari na mambo kama hayo. Kama walikuwa na mambo kama hayo, waitishe mkutano wao wa hiyo mambo yao, waje waelezee, wasikizwe. Lakini huu watu wa Ganze walikuwa wamekuja kusherehekea na kujua kama ni kweli kazi imeanza, na pia waone ni jinsi gani watahusishwa ili kuhakikisha kwamba hawaoni barabara peke yake, pia wanahusishwa katika ujenzi wa barabara kwa sababu ni ajira.
Let's go to international news. As the UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, COP26, entered its third day today, the presidents of Ghana and Madagascar, among other leaders of developing countries, criticized wealthier nations for failing to honor a pledge of providing $100 billion a year to tackle the impact of climate change. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has criticized the leaders of China and Russia for not turning up to the COP26 climate summit. Neither Russian President Vladimir Putin nor Chinese leader Xi Jinping are at the summit in Glasgow. Both countries, however, sent delegations to the talks, which are due to run for 2 weeks until 14th November. China is the world's largest emitter of carbon dioxide, followed by the US. Russia is the 5th largest after the EU and India. More than 120 leaders stand up at the conference in Scotland's largest city.
Those same nations are, however, insisting that we abandon the opportunity for rapid development of our economies. That would be tantamount to enshrining in the global community inequality of the highest order, a totally unacceptable conclusion.
As with every aspect of the climate crisis, no one can do this alone. We need all of us working together. I know you're tired of hearing that said. It's said over and over and over again, but it's true. And as we do, the United States will lead by example and share with the world our considerable powers of innovation. And as my grandfather would say, with the grace of God, the goodwill of neighbors, and the creek not rise, and we're going to make a lot of progress. All kidding aside, I think there's virtually nothing we're unable to do, particularly when we do it together.
What we want, the whole objective of this summit now, is to take these inventions, take these breakthroughs, and get the finance, get the support to make sure that they are disseminated, they are spread around the whole world, so that the whole world shares in the Glasgow breakthroughs and shares in our agenda, and that we unite across the whole planet to tackle climate change.
Back in Africa, a new report by the UN now states that all sides in Ethiopia's Tigray conflict have violated international human rights, some of which may amount to crimes against humanity. Extrajudicial executions, torture, rape, and attacks against refugees and displaced people were documented. A joint investigation by the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, EHRC, and the UN Human Rights Office said there could be evidence of war crimes. The war broke out on 4th November 2020 when Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed ordered an offensive against regional forces in the northern Tigray region. At the same time, Kenya is on high alert along its border with Ethiopia. Police spokesperson Bruno Shioso said this is after Ethiopia's cabinet declared a nationwide state of emergency for the 6 months after forces from the northern region, Tigray, claimed to have seized major cities. There are fears that the situation could result in an influx of refugees into other countries, including Kenya. Consequently, the police have advised citizens to be vigilant and report undocumented aliens and unprocessed immigrants to the nearest police station. And to a huge sigh of relief, a 4-year-old girl missing for 18 days in a remote part of Western Australia has been found alive and well in a locked house, according to police. Cleo Smith disappeared from her family's tent at a campsite near the town of Carnarvon on 16th October, triggering a massive search. A 36-year-old man is in custody and is being questioned by detectives. Police smashed their way into a house in Carnarvon in the early hours of Wednesday, following forensic clues to find little Cleo in one of the rooms. The girl has been reunited with her parents, who had made desperate pleas for Cleo's return. Police footage of Cleo's rescue showed her smiling as she received medical care. A miracle and a joy indeed. And on that happy note, let's take our second and last commercial break on Newswatch Tonight. Business and sports news are coming up.
Our Christian life is not just about God always stepping in when you are in trouble. But sometimes you need to go through the valley of the shadow of death, and God will say, angels, stand away. He must go through that. She must go through that. Because out of this would come something greater and more beautiful.
Join us every Sunday for unlimited, uplifting, joyful worship. Only on Extended Worship.
Let's continue with business. The government of Kenya and that of the Democratic Republic of Congo, in partnership with Equity Group, have come together to organize and facilitate a 15-day trade mission to DRC from 29th November to 13th December this year, as part of sustained efforts to promote regional trade and business growth. The trade mission, which expects to attract over 200 investors and business participants from Kenya and a similar number or more from DRC, as well as the public, will include trade exhibitions, business forums, and site visits in 4 of DRC's largest cities, that is Kinshasa, Lubumbashi, Goma, and Mbuji-Mayi.
All we are offering is the facilitation of government in transporting us together, in organizing meetings, in organizing sessions with the regulators on the other side to facilitate a smooth entry.
And we felt in our humble way we could mobilize 16 development banks, the UN agencies, and the Equity 6 subsidiaries to roll out this plan to provide credit to 5 million businesses in the region, to facilitate them to do cross-border trade.
As you prepare to embark on your mission, just take note that you are traveling to the largest country in sub-Saharan Africa, replete with vast surfaces of arable land and various natural resources. We also take great pride in our population, predominantly young, resilient, hardworking, creative, and full of life.
100 youth between 18 to 30 years have received scholarships to advance skills in animation, software engineering, and artificial intelligence through a partnership between Family Bank and Adanian Labs. The 5-month-long training program seeks to drive the growth of the creative and tech industries that are experiencing rapid growth globally in both entertainment and commercial value. The training collaborates with both local and international trainers from the USA, UK, among other countries, to bridge the skill gap, build robust solutions, and deploy smart solutions. Speaking during the commissioning of the beneficiaries of the ICT project, Family Bank CEO Rebecca Mbithi noted the COVID pandemic and innovations in the sector such as mobile money have been key accelerators in the uptake of digitization in Kenya.
But my ultimate interest is to create a movement of young people who will transform this continent. That is really the idea. And when you transform the continent, then you own your own value, you own your own IP, you create jobs for yourself, you mentor each other.
Also looked at what is also our corporate responsibility in terms of just making the dreams of the youth in Kenya happen. Right, so there's a merger of interests. And for banks, I will tell you, no industry is the reality of the need for digital as alive as the banking sector.
We believe that through this project, we can be able to drive the growth of the creative and tech industries that are experiencing rapid growth globally in both entertainment and commercial value. Artificial intelligence, for example, is becoming one of the fastest growing technologies cutting across various industries, for example, financial and education sectors, among others. The skill sets that the students will be able to acquire through ad labs will set them apart and give them a competitive edge, either through employment or even as entrepreneurs.
And consumer appliances manufacturer LG Electronics is moving to tap into the fast-growing on-demand laundry market in East Africa with a new concept targeting clientele looking for superior home washing services. LG has partnered with vendors and local entrepreneurs to roll out stores in strategic locations that are equipped with state-of-the-art washing machines and offering differentiated laundry solutions to an increasingly affluent middle-income market. The concept, known as LG Commercial Machine Reference Stores, also involves the company partnering with small laundry businesses targeting time and hygiene-conscious customers who may not own a washing machine but prefer their personal laundry done by professionals.
We spoke to a lot of people in a lot of housing estates to understand the reason why. And what we found was, number one, we didn't have many laundromats. We mainly had dry cleaners. Dry cleaners usually charge per piece, and the rates were high, so that it was only people that are very well off that would use the services of a dry cleaner. But the business model we had in mind was we wanted to target everybody. How can the average Kenyan get access to laundry services? So pricing was one reason. Second was that a lot of people had this idea of a laundromat, but they didn't have a template. They didn't have somewhere where they can go and see that, hey, here's a laundromat running successfully. These guys can advise me what I need to do to set up my laundromat properly and what I need to do to get a profitable business.
The reason why we are having this kind of a business, consider the Kenyan situation and Kenya future, we hope that we better provide better business opportunities. Yeah, washing machine, we are actually professional. And then why we are bringing this machine, actually we know well about the washing machine, right? We are #1 washing machine maker, so we know well. And then we could change some core parts for durability to use the commercial purpose.
And in sports, Vihiga Queens have arrived in Cairo, Egypt, ahead of the inaugural CAF Women's Champions League, scheduled for November 5th to 19th. Queens conducted their last training session yesterday before departing to Egypt for their inaugural tournament. The Queens will start their quest for continental glory with a clash against Mamelodi Sundowns on November 6th at the 30 June Stadium before meeting Morocco's ASFA November 9th at the Military Academy Stadium. They will wrap up their Pool B fixtures against Nigeria's heavyweights River Angels 3 days later at 30 June Stadium.
Nikienda Egypt nataka nikuwe top scorer pia na sitaangusha wananchi yetu na kitu yenye naweza sema tukipewa support takuwa tenda kucheza vizuri na taangusha nchi yetu.
Si kwanza tunataka tuingie semis, then from there tufike finals, from there tukuje na title. Naweza ambia mafans wote wa Kenya watupatie hiyo support, ni important sana na tutawa let down.
We are champions in Kenya, and of course also we are going to meet other champions from Africa. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to see how far we have made strides in Kenya in the women football. So we believe with the support that we have, the goodwill from the Federation, the county government of Vihiga, and the Ministry of Sports, we are going to perform equally good. For now, we have a full squad. Every girls are ready. So we have worked well with the fitness coach, and he has promised that we are going to have a very fit team while we are going to be in Egypt. That was a very good parameter for us to measure our levels, because we met the best clubs in other regions. So it was a good platform for us to meet different clubs with players from the national teams. Also the coaches were there for national teams. So I believe that that CECAFA gave us an opportunity for us to build our capacity in terms of women development. We have had good preparation since we played last the CECAFA interclubs in Kenya. We have been in camp for more than a month, so we believe that with the good preparations that we have had, we are going to have a very interesting tournament in Egypt.
This is where we wrap up Newswatch tonight. Thank you for your valuable company. I'm Tess Njenga, and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. God willing, see you tomorrow, same place, same time. For now, I wish you a good night. And here is tomorrow's weather forecast.